Hello, folks. A very good morning to all of you. Good afternoon and good evening to those of you who are joining from your respective time zones. All right, so let us start with our webinar today. First off, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to attend this masterclass today. Let me introduce myself. I'm Siddharth, a marketing analyst with Manage Engine ServiceDesk Plus, and I will be your trainer for today's episode. In the previous session, we discussed how you can improve your incident management framework with ServiceDesk Plus. In today's episode, we'll be turning our focus towards how you can deliver an exceptional IT service experience in a hybrid work environment. Why this topic, you ask? Well, 2 years ago, we were shifted into a completely different work model, and now we have certain countries in the waning phase of the pandemic while others still going through a fourth wave. So the only choice for enterprises as well as employees is to adopt a hybrid work model, which is the future of work today. So in that context, we'll be discussing how enterprise service providers, that is your IT departments, HR, facilities departments, how they will be able to provide an IT service experience with a very high employee satisfaction levels. All right. So let's jump right into our agenda for today, which contains 5 action items. Now, I would also go a bit further and say that these are the 5 foundations to build an exceptional service experience. We will start at the topmost layer with enterprise service management. We will discuss how you can create department specific portals for different enterprise departments and how they will contribute to better service management. Secondly, we will be picking up one of these service desks and we will discuss how you can curate a detailed self service portal for your employees. Thirdly, we'll see how you can deliver services in the most personalized manner using a comprehensive service catalog. Then we'll move on to discussing how you can standardize and optimize your service delivery processes using visual workflow builders. Finally, we'll discuss how collaboration with multiple departments in your organizations can be made easy and efficient using Service Desk Plus. Now, we will be discussing all of these 5 foundations in the context of employee onboarding, but they are equally applicable to any kind of service that you deliver to your end users. We'll go to Zilker, which is a rapidly growing electric vehicle manufacturer. As we all know, the demand for electric vehicles is at an all-time high, and they desperately need a lot of engineers, a lot of salespeople. So they are on a recruitment drive for R&D, sales, marketing, production departments, and all other different enterprise departments. Now, Zilker's aim here is to provide a very smooth onboarding experience to their new employees irrespective of the work model they've been associated with. So, a remote employee or someone who's going to work from the office will be exposed or should be exposed to the same service levels. There should not be any degradation in their service experiences. But it is easier said than done because this is how Zilker's onboarding workflow looks like. As you could see, it is not a very straightforward process, but rather involves different enterprise departments working to fulfill their own sets of tasks. And an added complexity is that each of these tasks would be performed, or each set of these tasks would be performed by a different individual. It would be the HR manager who performs the induction, entry into HR systems, takes care of contract signing. When it comes to the IT department, you'd have a group of IT technicians working to provision software, hardware, and all the other requirements of the new joinee. The employee agreement and non disclosure agreements are taken care of the legal officer, and so on. Now, this is what it looks like in the normal course of events, but another complexity is the work model, of course. So you have 3 different work models like hybrid, remote, and resident, which is the usual work from office model. So, was Zilker able to provision these services? Was Zilker able to achieve its mission of delivering an exceptional service experience? Well, they did not because they really lacked a service management solution, which led to them facing roadblocks and challenges at each and every step. It all started off with trying to handle multiple types of onboarding requests. But there was not really an efficient or a structured process to deal with these requests. And well, Zilker could be an organization offering a modern product in a red hot industry vertical, but their approach to service management was very old fashioned. They were still relying on their support mailboxes to gather employee information, which gave rise to a lot of human errors. Now, this also resulted in silos cropping up, and a lack of communication resulted in a lot of process lapses and inconsistencies. So we had multiple technicians all working from different locations. Some of them were based out of their office, some of them were working remotely, and they did not really have a clarity on their designated responsibilities. And this led to a lot of different and critical tasks falling under the radar because there was not a process to track them. Now, remember that I told you Zilker did not invest in a service management solution. So I'm sorry, excuse me for a minute. All right. So, as I was telling you, Zilker did not really invest in a service management solution, and this sort of hamstrung them because they were not really able to set up automations for mundane and routine processes like routing it to the right support group, assigning it, and triggering approvals. And throughout this entire onboarding process, there were no SLAs configured, resulting in employees being very dissatisfied because you wouldn't really know when that particular service is being delivered. Entirely, the hybrid hiring process was a total chaos, and the organization lost central control over its onboarding. But could things have been different? Yes, and you would know how to solve Zilker's problems right now because that's exactly what our agenda talked about. This is the 5 point prescription or the five foundations with which Zilker is going to overcome their roadblocks. So we'll start off with department specific portals, how to make the self service portal more intuitive. We'll discuss how you can build a personalized service catalog in ServiceDesk Plus. We'll also help Zilker to visually map their process and ensure that such a workflow will span across departments. So let us proceed to the first action item for today, which is creating department specific portals for better service management. So let me quickly share my product screen with you. All right. I hope all of you are able to see the screen. This is the self-service portal of the HR help desk in Zilker. But by clicking on these 9 dots over here, I'm able to access all the other different enterprise service desks that are part of Zilker. And clicking on the ESM portal will take me to a unified enterprise portal that brings together all these different departments, these different enterprise departments together. And right over here, we have the unified search bar where I can simply type in whatever doubts, services, or information that I require from all these different service providers. And immediately, I get a solution talking about the hiring policy from the HR help desk. So by typing in the services or keying in whatever requests or solutions that you would require, you'll be able to access announcements, solutions, and templates from across different enterprise departments. So you can filter them out and just select the right information or service you would require. Now, apart from that, you can also access all of these different enterprise departments at with a single click, and this ensures that all of your enterprise departments take advantage of ITIL aligned best practices, right? So these were all practices restricted to the IT department initially, but we can ensure that other enterprise departments also uh, take advantage to make their processes more efficient. Now, it is easier to just juggle between different service desks at the click of a button. So I can, as a requester, as a hiring manager more specifically, it is very easy for me to simply change between different service desks and access a service, report an issue, or browse the existing knowledge base. So how do we come up with our ESM portal? How do we bring all of these different departments onto a single enterprise platform? Let's go ahead and find out. So I have entered the administrators portal, And again, we have the ESM icon where we have access to the ESM directory. So the ESM directory is where you build all of these service desk instances and customize your ESM portal. So you will be starting off with service desk instances. As you could see over here, you can just simply click on this particular card stating new instance and provide the name and description of your enterprise service desk. So let me quickly set this up. And once you provide your URL name, you can select what type of service desk it is going to be. And Service Desk Plus offers IT, facilities, and HR help desks out of the box. So I'm just going to select under what domain it falls. Assign a particular owner to this service desk. So the owner will be managing this service desk instance. And once I do that, we will be providing access permissions either to everyone in the organization or to just those users with specific permissions. Now, all of this can be done in just under 30 seconds. So that is how easy it is to ensure that you onboard your enterprise department into a single unified service management platform. This makes it easier for both service providers as well as the consumers because you have everything in one place as a one-stop shop. Now, once you've gotten your service desk instances in order, it's time to customize the ESM portal. Over here, you can provide a default URL or a custom URL that you would want using your organization's name. And then you can go ahead and ensure that this ESM portal is your default URL, or you can direct your employees, end users, to a particular service desk instance. So this would be helpful if, let's say that the most used service desk is the IT help desk. I can simply say that this is the default landing page. But remember that if the users select their own default instances, this global setting will not be applicable. Now, once we have sorted out all these settings, it's time to customize the ASM portal. In this particular window, we have access to the HTML editor, so you can simply configure an HTML code to change the look and feel of the enterprise portal, where we have three different views called code view, a preview which shows you how the enterprise service portal looks at the moment, and a split view so that you would be able to make changes to your HTML code and see how it is reflected in the enterprise portal. And you can also consume these template variables within your HTML code, offering more functionality and change the branding, look, and feel of the enterprise portal to fit your organization. Now, if you're interested in knowing more about the different types of HTML templates that you can come up with, or if you require more help in configuring this, please drop an email to our support folks or to hello@servicedeskplus.com, and we'll be very happy to help you out. Now, we have sorted out our service desk instances, we have configured the ESM portal. What's next? You can manage all your users over here within the ESM directory. So by clicking on new user, you can simply provide all the information and invite them into your organization. And once they accept that, you can simply select those users and add them to any of these particular instances. And the same extends to removing users from specific instances. The other option, apart from adding the users individually, is to import them from your Azure Active Directory. Now, that takes care of the first layer or the first foundation that we were supposed to discuss today. So let me once again take you back to my presentation. So we saw how you can create an enterprise service management portal where you can create a unique service desk instance for different enterprise departments. We saw how these service desk instances are entirely separated, where you have data, process, and the people in a very autonomous manner. Secondly, we saw how the common enterprise portal was used to centrally access all of these instances and how easy it was to shift between different instances without juggling a lot of different applications. Now, I also have one more view to showcase the true value or the true power of these enterprise service desks, where I have these split view of the HR and the IT help desk. Now remember, this is from the administrator's perspective into both of these service desks. As you could see, the data contained in them are different, the users are different, and I can also ensure that we have custom workflows specific to each of these instances. So that is how you establish data, process, and people autonomy for each of your enterprise service desks. Now, we have sorted out how we can unify our enterprise departments or our enterprise service providers in a single platform. Now, the next step is to take one of these departments and we'll discuss how you can tailor a self service portal which is unique to one such department. Here, we will be discussing how we can customize them end to end, and we'll also discuss an exciting beta feature. So, let me once again go back to the requesters portal and log into the IT help desk. Now, the IT help desk is, it might look a bit different from what we have out of the box because we have performed some heavy duty HTML customizations that will help this fictional organization called Zilker. So right out of the box, right out of the top, we have an announcement. So this asks me to lock my screen and get myself vaccinated. Beneath that, I have three different widgets for different data security issues that I might face. For example, if I'm going to report a data loss issue, I need not go ahead and search for that particular service, but it is right up front in the self service portal, and all I have to do is just click on this widget. Immediately, it takes me to the right template, and I can start filling it up to report my issue. Now, this is again important in the context of data security, which has, you know, received some heightened importance, rightly so, because we have seen a lot of cybersecurity threats cropping up recently. Now, beneath that, we have our regular widget, which has a search bar and three out of the box widgets for reporting an issue, requesting a service, or browsing through our existing knowledge base containing solutions. Over here, I have a summary of all the tickets that I've created, announcements from the IT department, and very specific to the IT department, a list of assets that would be associated to me, and the most used service templates. Now, these are some of the templates, or these are some of the widgets that we offer out of the box, but we have one more over here, a URL widget, which is interactive. So I can simply browse through this website from within my self service portal. Why is it relevant? Why do you need a URL widget? Now, a lot of our customers rely on their own websites or any other third party website for knowledge sharing, right? So these customers want to include these third party knowledge sources into their self service portal, and that's where a URL widget steps in. Now, apart from all of these elements in your self service portal, an end user can also access approvals or also browse through the notifications that he or she has received. So, how do you get all of these in order? How do you construct or build this particular self service portal for the IT help desk? Once again, I'm going to take you back into the administrator's portal. So, let me go back to into the IT help desk and navigate to the setup configurations. Now, under general settings, we have the requester portal over here, where you would be provided with all the capabilities that you can offer to your requesters. So you can enable them to set reminders, allow them to reopen their requests or close their resolved requests, configure the ability of a requester to cancel their requests or to just notify a technician, and also choose to expose the cost information to these requesters. Now, once you're done with all of these different configurations, I can go ahead and customize the requester portal. ServiceDesk Plus offers a basic customization capability as well as an advanced customization, which is powered by our no-code platform Zoho Creator. Now, before going into advanced, let me show you how to configure or play around with the basic customization. So this is how the IT help desk look like. And right over here, I have the edit icon which would grant me access to the HTML editor. And as I've said, this is our heavy duty HTML code that our developers came with. And using this, we have customized the look and feel of the IT help desk, specifically the self-service portal of the IT help desk. Again, if you are an expert in HTML coding, if you're interested in it, you can actually go ahead and try to change it by yourself. Or if you would require any help, please contact our support team. We will be able to share all of the codes and templates that we have created for our different customers. Now, over here, you can consume these attributes to perform specific actions in your self-service portal, such as viewing requests, creating change, viewing solutions, or to create requests with a default template. So you can simply add these attributes into your code. Or you can also consume the canned widgets that we offer out of the box, or the URL widgets, which you will be creating. Now, if you're not a fan of all of these scripts and codes, you can simply make use of the templates that are offered out of the box to change the layout of your self-service portal. Now, once you're done with that, you can configure or manage your widgets over here, such as changing the layouts or adding a new URL widget. So let me show you how the Manage Engine widget is configured. As you could see over here, it is as simple as providing a name and the URL for this particular widget and choose to hide or show the widget header. This ensures that an interactive URL widget is placed right into your self-service portal. Now, that's all about the basic customization. How do we have, or what does the advanced customization hold in store for you? Well, the advanced customization is composed entirely of a drag and drop canvas, and it is completely in a no code manner. So you can consume all of these templates or create something from scratch. As you can see over here, you can drag all of these different elements or these external embed links into your drag and drop canvas. So let me quickly show you how that works. Now, once you have added a button over here, you can choose to provide a label to it, define what action will be performed by that particular button, and also change the style and so that you configure the look and feel of this particular element. Now that ensures that you need not really play around with HTML code, but simply use your creativity to drag and drop it on a canvas. So that brings us to the end of the self-service portal customization. And let's go ahead and go back to our presentation. Now, the third action item is 3 layers deep. That is, we saw how the enterprise portal looked like. We discussed how the self-service portal of one particular department can be customized. Now, the third element or the third foundation is to take up the service catalog that is offered within these self-service portals, and we will see how we can deliver services in the most personalized manner. Over here, we will be making use of templates, we'll be configuring approvals, tasks, and SLAs. So once again, I'm going back into the IT help desk as a requester. Now let me click on request a service, and immediately the service catalog pops up. So we have all of these service categories, and let me click on user management, and immediately I'm able to access the employee onboarding service. This looks like a regular form that what we saw before with an incident template, but let's go ahead and find out how this is different. The first point of difference is obviously the cost information. We have the service cost, which is the fixed cost for this particular service, and something called a resource cost. Let me find out what it is about. So let me provide the category of the new hire as permanent. And when I immediately do that, 2 different sections pop up which were hidden before. Now, that's what we term by a dynamic form. And of course, I will be showcasing how you can implement dynamic forms in your organization. So let me provide the name of the new hire, contact number, an emergency contact number. Let's say that the new employee is going to work from California in the support department and with the role of a developer. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. I'll say that he is a sales executive. Now, once I select the OS as Mac OS, immediately I'm able to access all of these different devices. Now, as you could see over here, I'm able to access all the Mac devices, but if it's going to be a Linux device or the Linux OS, I have access to only those workstations that run on Linux, right? So that is how you ensure that you deliver a personalized service depending on what your user wants. You should be able to capture the user's preferences and selectively showcase the services or devices or the products that you offer to your employees. So let me quickly select the Mac Pro, and as soon as I do that, the cost associated with this particular device is added to the total cost. Now let me also select the keyboard and a few other services I would require. And as while I'm at it, all these costs have been added to the service cost, and the total cost of this particular service is showcased to me. So this is how you can deliver a shopping cart experience to your employees. Now, your employees in the out of office or in their normal lives access all of these features through e-commerce websites, and you can extend the same consumer-like experience within your service catalog. Now, once I'm done with all filling up all of these fields, I'm going to click on Add Request, and the request is immediately created. As you could see, all the details are carried over here. A priority is assigned to it, and a technician is automatically assigned to this ticket, courtesy our technician auto assign capability, about which we discussed in detail in the previous episode. Now, as a requester or as an employee, I'm also able to see when this particular service will be delivered to me. Remember, this was the major challenge for Zilker's employees because, let's face it, Zilker did not really configure a service level agreement. Now I'm able to access all the details of the particular ticket, the history of all the actions which were performed on this ticket. As I told you before, the technician has been assigned using the Tech Auto Assign capability. Now, how does it reflect inside the technician's view? Let's go ahead and find out. I'm going into the request list view from the administrator's portal. And right over here, we have the new employee request which we created. As you could see, all the details associated with the ticket is carried over, providing context to my technician. And I'm able to change the status of this particular ticket whenever an action is performed. Now, remember to note this particular capability because we will be discussing something different in our next action item. Now, we also have a list of tasks that we can configure so that you can ensure that you break down a service into its constituent activities and assign them to different groups or technicians. I can also configure approvals over here, ensuring that I'm able to work on this ticket only after someone like the reporting manager or the general manager approves the onboarding ticket. So how does all of this come together? How does the SLA get applied? How is this out of the box approval mechanism work? We are going to go ahead and find out just that. So over here, we are again back in the setup page, and under templates and forms, we have the service category. Now inside the service category, you can, so this is your service catalog, which we showcased in the self-service portal. You can add your different service categories, import images, or select one of the icons provided out of the box. And once you're done with all of that, you can create different services under each of these categories. So here is the employee onboarding template, which we have created already. And right up, I understand that this would be very familiar to you because this is exactly how our incident templates look like. But there are a lot of differences. So before we discuss the differences, again, as with the incident template, we have a list of available fields that you can drag and drop onto your template canvas. or create a new field from scratch where you can select from all these different types of fields like single line, multi-line, pick list, numeric, date and time, etc. Now, once you've configured all of these fields over here, defined the granular access permissions, such as the requester can set or define the value, or whether the requester can just view a particular field. Now, once you've configured that, we can provide a service cost and ensure that we show this to just the right audience. Now, why is it important to showcase it to the right audience? If you don't do that, it is entirely possible that this particular service is exposed to everyone in your organization, resulting in your service desk being flooded with tickets which are ineligible in the first place. So we can ensure that only the managers in Zilker can access the employee onboarding service. Now, this is where we bring in personalization. This is achieved using the resource info section. Remember how we discussed one of the major challenges for Zilker was uh, dealing with the new joinees details entirely through email threads and their support mailboxes, right? That challenge is overcome using the resource info section. Over here, we can add different sections capturing all the requirements of the new joinee, and it is as simple as clicking on add resource. Let me say this is a work from home kit, and I can choose from the list of existing questions or create one from scratch. So let me say this encompasses the delivery address, and it will be a text box. While I have configured all of this, I can go ahead and mark this particular field as personally identifiable information so that when a user leaves your organization, you can go ahead and delete personally identifiable information and anonymize them so that you would be able to adhere to all the different data privacy laws in your jurisdictions. Now, let me actually show you an existing resource called asset details. As you could see over here, we can add different type of questions, and we can even have an advanced layout for each of these questions. For example, I can add images to each of these items, provide the cost associated with uh, provisioning this Apple keyboard to my new joinee, and ensure that all of such uh, products are added to this particular question. This ensures that the shopping cart experience that I talked about is configured into the product. And once you've done with all of this, you can configure the form rules. The form rules is what that makes the employee onboarding form dynamic. Remember that when we clicked on the the category of the new hire as permanent, right? We immediately looked at a new section popping up with contact number, department, emergency contact number, etc. That is because we have created this rule which will be executed when a request is created, edited, and it will apply only to the employee onboarding template. Now, the we wanted different fields to show up, and we wanted to mandate certain fields when we selected the category of new hire as permanent. So we would define that over here, whether this rule would be executed on form load, or when a particular field is being changed, or when the end user submits the form. So I have selected when the field called category of new hire is changed, all of these actions would be executed. Now, these actions are simply not restricted to just hiding showing fields, but rather you can enable these fields, clear the options for your drop down fields, set value to a field. Even you can showcase tasks that would be executed for a ticket, set tasks, showcase resources, and even execute a custom script. So let's say that all of these options don't really satisfy your complex employee onboarding workflow. You can go ahead and execute a custom script. Now, again, you remember that when we selected the operating system as Mac OS, we were able to see all the different Mac devices and the required accessories. Now, if the end user is going to go ahead and change that particular field to Linux, we would only showcase the right fields. So this is why field and form rules can make your forms more dynamic, ensure that your employees have a more personalized service experience. Now, once you're done with the template, you can define your approvals. Out of the box, ServiceDesk Plus offers 5 stages of approvals, and these approvals can be sent to either role to specific organizational roles or to individual users. I would recommend that you go ahead with organizational roles because this will ensure that even if a particular user leaves the organization, you need not come back here and change the approval workflow, but rather you can just map the new manager to a particular organizational role, and the approval mechanism will simply keep flowing without any changes required. Once I have defined all the stages, I can go ahead and ensure that this particular approval will be sent automatically, and whether all the approvers have to approve this ticket. I can take care not to assign a technician before a ticket is actually approved, and I can also showcase this approval to the requester so that we can reassure them that their ticket is being operated upon. Once I'm done with approvals, it's time to go into the implementation of the onboarding requests, where we'll add different tasks to the template, manage the task dependency so that we ensure that all the child tasks are completed, only all the parent tasks are completed only after the child tasks are completed. Forgive me for that error. And you can choose to trigger tasks when the ticket or then the service request is created, on whether only on the approval of a service request or to manually trigger them using a technician's login. So that is all about how you can configure a service catalog and a particular service template. Now, we are more than halfway through our masterclass, and we will be stepping into our fourth foundation where we'll look at how you can standardize your service delivery. Over here, we'll be helping Zilker to visually map their employee onboarding workflow in ServiceDesk Plus. So let me go back to the requesters login and select the HR help desk. Now what I'm about to do is again create an onboarding ticket. So we have some HR specific services offered in this catalog. Let me quickly select the work model as hybrid, and immediately I'm asked about my vaccination information. So I'm going to select that I'm vaccinated with a booster shot. Provide the date of joining of the new employee. We will provide all the collaboration software required, the additional hardware components, and the access permissions for this particular new employee. We also need to take care to provide the office timings because this is a new employee with working with the hybrid work model. Now, once we are done with all of that, let me click on add request, and the request has been created. Now let's go back to our technician's perspective. So we have created this onboarding ticket in the HR service desk, and let's click on the request list view. And right up here, we have the ticket which was created by the hiring manager in Zilker. Now, there are a few differences between this particular ticket and the one which we created before. Now, the first difference is that we have all the information carried over into the description, right? Now, this is done using a custom script that was executed as part of the form rules. Now, you would have remember I asked you to note how the status could be changed when we discussed the previous service request, right? But now I do not have that option. I simply cannot change the status of this particular onboarding ticket arbitrarily. But what I can do is click on these two transition buttons. So let's say that this particular employee is in fact an employee associated to the hybrid model, so I would be selecting this transition. Or in case I need more information from the hiring manager, I will click on this particular button, and immediately the status of this onboarding request changes to on hold. Remember, I still don't have control over the change of status arbitrarily, but I can only achieve that through these transition buttons. So the hybrid employee button has disappeared, and I can only ensure that I can proceed further with this ticket after receiving the full details. So again, let me click on this ticket, sorry, the button, and the hybrid employee button is visible to me. Now, there are really no any tasks associated with this particular onboarding request, but let's find out how the technicians would know what to do. Let me click on the hybrid employee transition button, and now we have all the list of tasks that we need to perform. So initially we did not see any of these tasks, but now we are able to see all of these tasks assigned to the right owners. So how did we achieve all of that? This is where the request lifecycle comes in handy. So let me take you back to our setup configuration, and under automation, you have the life cycles. So let me click on the employee onboarding lifecycle. So this is where we visualize Zilker's workflow, right? So these white boxes are all the statuses through which the onboarding request will traverse through. And these are the transitions or the transition buttons which will perform certain condition-based actions. So let me quickly select on need more info transition, and I can ensure that this transition button would be visible only to these two users associated to the SD admin role and part of the recruitment problems user technician groups. Now I can also define the criteria under which this particular button would be displayed. I can execute certain rules during the transition. I can mandate certain fields to ensure that the technician is performing certain actions. I can validate the technician's performance by making certain fields mandatory. Now, the rule configuration ensures that I can update the field value based on certain conditions or even abort the process execution if, let's say, that the total cost is greater than a particular value. So this ensures that I'll be able to abort this process because this exceeds the cost limit, and this organization called Zilker does not really serve as onboarding requests more than this cost. Now, in the after phase, I can ensure that again, I'll be able to trigger a lot of different actions based on conditions. Over here, since we have requested more information from the hiring manager, we will be sending a customized email to him when this particular transition button is clicked or acted upon. Now remember, we were also able to set tasks only after the hybrid employee button was clicked, right? So again, we are able to define the scope, which is who are the stakeholders to whom this particular button will be visible and under what condition. So since we specified the work model as hybrid, this button was visible, and after this transition was executed, we were able to view all of these different tasks. Now, if it had been a remote employee, we did not see this button, but it would have been visible if the work model had been a remote work model. So this ensures that you would be able to add just those tasks associated or required to fulfill a remote employee onboarding. So this ensures that you would be able to have process control over your service delivery, ensure that your technicians do not perform any arbitrary actions, and also eliminate guesswork out of your service delivery, because in the absence of visualizing it, your technicians would have to go back and consult their guides, consult their handbooks on fulfilling service requests. Now, that's all about how you can visualize the service delivery process and how you can trigger different actions at every status transition. Now, the next phase deals with how you can onboard hybrid employees efficiently by collaborating with different departments. So once again, we'll go back into the ticket that we were discussing, and the current transition button displayed is notify IT and facilities. Let me click on this button, and immediately the status changes to asset and workplace provisioning. What has happened with this particular button? That would be visible or that would be evident when we visit the facilities help desk. So here is the facilities help desk, and again, I'm going into the request list view. Over here, we have the employee onboarding ticket, which we created in the HR instance. But this is a child ticket carrying just the tasks required to be fulfilled by the facilities team. As you could see, as a facilities technician, I have complete context on what this onboarding request is about. The details page provides me with a link to the original parent ticket in the HR help desk, which I can use to stay on top of the updates to it. So I would be on the same page with different departments, and I have a list of tasks that I need to complete to onboard a hybrid employee, such as verifying their security clearance, verifying their access cards, providing them with the right seating arrangements. So, how did we achieve this? We were able to do this using custom triggers and custom functions. So, let me quickly show you the custom triggers. So, custom triggers ensure that when a request arrives, you can perform certain condition based actions. So, over here, we verified whether the arriving onboarding request is set to the right template and the work model is indeed hybrid. And if so, we have executed these actions, which are the different tasks. Now, if again, in case this would have been a remote onboarding request, the tasks would have been different, which is just dispatching devices to the new employee, right? The facilities team does not really step into the picture if the employee is going to work from their homes. But these are all about how you can trigger these tasks when a ticket is created in different instances. How are we able to create these tickets in the other instances initially? Once again, let me take you back to the employee onboarding workflow in the HR instance. Remember, I am shuffling between different service desks, but let me know if you're not able to follow it. But I will try my best to make have stay on point with our flow. So as you could see, we have our transition button over here. And what happens here is that we have executed a custom function powered by Deluge, our low code IDE. So what happens here is when I press this particular transition button to notify different service desks, this custom functions ensure that a ticket is created in both the IT and the facility service desks and copies and pastes the link to those tickets in the original HR ticket. Now, is that all possible with custom functions? No. You can also go ahead and configure custom functions that would perform a lot of different tasks, such as creating a GoToWebinar meeting, push info to your HR management application, or update any other third party business applications. So, this is how Service Desk Plus is extensible so that you would be able to work seamlessly with your other business and IT applications. So let me quickly go back to the initial ticket and press the final transition button, which will lead me to closing this onboarding ticket. So once I have received information from the HR and IT and facilities technicians that they have completed their onboarding tasks, I can go ahead and close this ticket and be done with it. Now, is that all that is to completing a service request or fulfilling a service request? No, because there is one more element to it, which is trying to quantify the employee experience. You would really need to know that your employees are receiving their desired service levels, and how do you keep track of it? You would do that using user surveys. So let me showcase a sample onboarding survey that I have created. Once again, this is the administrator's perspective, and I'm going to go inside the setup page, and over here I have the survey settings. Now this particular survey is powered by Zoho Survey, which is a survey management tool from our parent company Zoho Corp. And while enabling that, you can create custom survey templates for different services. So you can provide a welcome message, a page revisit message, schedule the survey to be executed when a particular request is closed or after a certain number of requests are closed. I can also go ahead and define certain exclusion criteria. For example, let's say that the approval status is denied, and in such cases I can choose not to send the survey email, and I can also ensure that technicians are excluded from the purview of the survey. Now, we also have a lot of survey templates which I've created. So let me showcase this particular employee onboarding survey. As you could see over here, I have a lot of different questions. And let's say that I was not really satisfied with the onboarding technician's performance. So I can simply say that I wasn't satisfied, and immediately this dynamic survey form asks me a supplementary question, whether which of the aspects did I find poor. So I can say it's communication, and let's say that I was satisfied with the quality of services, but if in case I wasn't, again, you could narrow down to what went wrong by asking a supplementary question. This is again reflected to the overall experience, so you can ask your end users on what exactly went wrong and how to fix them in your next iteration. So designing this comprehensive and dynamic survey form ensures that you would be able to identify any gaps in your service delivery. So let me quickly showcase how you can create a template. This would take you into Zoho Survey, and this would be possible once you enable that. And this is a completely no code application, in the sense you can simply drag and drop all these different types of questions, define the display logic to a question. For example, this particular question is displayed only when your end users think your onboarding technician's performance was below 5 or below par in this particular scale. This ensures that you bring a certain dynamism into your survey forms, and you can also derive insights from all the data churned from these surveys. So, for example, here is a report that I've created. You can make use of default reports, create your own custom reports, or a cross-tab report too. So I would recommend using the cross-tab report because this would help you to nail exactly what went wrong. So here's a question which has been correlated to the entire overall experience. For example, the answer here is very poor, and I can see what is the response for the onboarding technician's performance. As you could see, this particular user has given a low score to the technician's performance, which is why they were able to perceive the experience in using the service desk as very poor. Now, again, you can drill down into it, uh, look at what went wrong. For example, over here, you can identify exactly that, and you can also eliminate all the possibilities you have. For example, we can see that the quality of resources provision to the new employee was actually high. It was respectively rated 8 and 10, but still something went wrong because it is classified as not satisfactory and very poor with respect to the overall experience. So you can narrow down what went wrong and take corrective action. So this ensures that you will always be able to perform a continual service improvement, which is one of the core components of ITIL best practice framework. So I hope this session was very useful to you. We were able to cover all of these different foundations, including user surveys. So let me quickly recap whatever we discussed today. So we started off with enterprise service management. We saw how we can unify service delivery through different department specific portals. We then selected one particular department and created a detailed self-service portal. Thirdly, we saw how the service catalog can be built with cost information, approval workflows, and tasks. Fourthly, we saw how we were able to standardize and optimize Zilker's service delivery process using the request lifecycle. And finally, we saw how collaboration could be made easy with custom functions. Now, if you're interested to know more about the HTML customizations or the custom functions we discussed today, please drop an email to support at service I mean to our support team, or alternatively to hello@servicedeskplus.com. Thanks a lot, folks. You've been a great audience, and I realize it's been a pretty long session, but it would be great if you can go back and implement all the configurations that we discussed today. And you can also browse through our admin guide where we have detailed step by step instructions on configuring these capabilities. Check out our release notes for exciting new product updates. We also have a catalog of product videos that showcases how you can achieve these configurations. Take part in our community, and of course, you can just contact our support portal for all the requirements, doubts, or clarifications that you would require. And our email ID, hello@servicedeskplus.com, is over here. So let's say that you need a custom script or custom functions, please drop an email to hello@servicedeskplus.com. And I hope this was a great session, and you are all able to derive some value out of this classroom session. We have more masterclass episodes planned around asset management and change management in the subsequent months. So stay tuned to your mailboxes. We will be sending out mailers for those episodes too. And please share your feedback on how this particular session was. You'll be having a questionnaire after you exit the session. Thank you, folks. Until next time, this is Siddharth signing off. Have a nice day.